I hope is very beneficial for everybody. So we can cross pollinate. Give us the feedback. I know Mo was telling me we already have a lot of questions. I'm not surprised. We're actually from the same neighborhood, believe it or not. With that, I would love to have Iyad maybe introduce them, because Iyad actually is friends with them. I'm glad now I'm friends, but Iyad's been friends. And then I'd love to just have the ladies talk about their journey, and we could go from there.
All right, so they don't need any introduction.
Hi, thank you for having us. We are the twins, Lulu and Lala. You've probably heard us when we were with iHeart. We did the night show on KTU from 7 to midnight for 7 years.
Yep.
We've always done radio. It's pretty much our whole career. We started in the Latin market, worked our way into the English market, and ever since we've just been flying high.
Yes.
I'm Lala, that's Lulu.
I'm the older twin. It's been a nice little roller coaster in this beautiful world we call entertainment. Your health does get knocked out a couple of times with the stress and the industry, but it's been a fun ride.
It really has.
Great.
We really can't complain.
No.
Well, we can, but I'm not. Just can't do it so much.
So I know people know you guys, right? They know you from The Amazing Race. They know you from the radio. So not that you shouldn't talk about that, right? That's interesting. But the journey in between is always what I find fascinating. Like people see you when you're at the top like that, but they don't know what it took to get there. And I think while it's funny, people, on the radio or on TV, they don't always talk about that. I think that's probably the most interesting thing to others to hear. So if you could just take us through your journey, how you ended up, especially the fact that you did it all together is pretty unique.
I think we got lucky because we used to dance, the whole ballet, tap, jazz, flamenco for 10 years. And when we went to college, we decided to do something different. We wanted to stay in the whole entertainment world.
We just weren't sure which direction we were going to go in.
So we took up TV and radio broadcasting, and we took a quick internship with a thing called TUN, the University Network, which used to compete with MTVU. And that's where we learned. We were immediately put to do press junkets and red carpets. We didn't know what we were doing.
How old? So you're like 19, 20?
Yes.
Okay.
We were young.
Fresh off of college. Yeah, we were still in college.
And where did you guys go to college?
New Jersey City University. Well, first we went to Bergen Community, and then we went to New Jersey City University. And, college is great. We didn't graduate, which is something my mom always likes to remind us of. But
you need the experience, right?
Yes.
I think as doctors, it's not the same learning textbook versus actually, doing what you're supposed to do. And so we were working full time, going to school full time, and interning at two different places.
Right. So
We got the experience because we were interning at TUN, but we were also interning at Univision Radio. So we got the best of both worlds.
So you were in college and you basically had 2 gigs also.
Yeah, and a full-time job.
And a full-time paying job too.
Yeah. So we didn't really wait till the end of college to start interning. In our minds, we're like, we need to get going.
Yeah.
We need to find an internship that we're going to be able to just get our foot in the door, and then from there just observe a lot and be there always. Someone needs something, you need coffee, I'm going to get coffee, I'm going to get it the right way. And so we were just always we were like sponges.
And at the time, back in the day, not that long ago, you didn't get paid to internship. Right. There was no. You were getting the experience. And so that's how we started. There was this reality show that was coming up called Nuestra Belleza Latina, which is like the
America's Top Model.
Okay.
The Latin version.
Okay.
And they told us, hey, you guys should try out. You never know.
This is when we were with Univision, the Univision internship. And
but at the time, our Spanish wasn't great.
We didn't have enough vocabulary to be able to express ourselves the way that we want to.
Okay.
So we knew going into this reality show, we have a target on our back because of our vocabulary. And we definitely did have a target on our back.
We made it to the show,
okay.
But then we were eliminated a week after they flew us out to Miami. So obviously we were bummed because we left everything. We left our job, we left school, thinking we were gonna.
This is our big break. In our minds, we had our life already planned. We're gonna win this thing, and we're gonna be living.
But reality hit. That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So we were, sad and depressed, but then Univision called us up saying, hey, we know that we eliminated you guys, but we actually want you guys to work for us, you know, doing interviews. We'll fly you around the nation talking about the show you just got kicked out of. So we were kind of like
covering it.
Yes.
covering it.
Okay.
Now, this was our first experience going live on television. We didn't really know what we were doing.
Were you nervous? Were you scared?
Absolutely.
Were you like, did the excitement override? Like, how do you? Because you're flying through these things. Each sentence you said is like a lifetime.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you're flipping through it. And I'm building some questions I want to ask you, by the way, but I don't want to stop this momentum.
No,
but like, are you not scared at each? Like, you jumped out of Miami. Now okay.
Absolutely
By the way,
terrified.
I'm throwing all these questions out the window.
Yeah.
You guys are just gonna suck. I love it.
We were terrified the first time going live because they put that thing in your ear. So you're hearing everything that's going on in the
The
studio.
producer.
But you know what you have to say. You have like a minute and 30 seconds to say everything you have to say. And hopefully you don't mess up while you're saying it on live air. So just to...
Basically, we were terrified, but we knew, like, okay, we have to just get through this. The only way to learn is to just get through it. If you mess up and the whole nation sees you, get over it. Because it's, you know, you want to build it and you want to build the confidence of, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So when we started, we really didn't know what we were doing. It was literally fake it to make it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
And
how.
were you guys in agreement in lockstep the whole way to get there, or did you have disagreements?
For the most part, I think when we started, we were in agreement. We agreed to everything.
Yes.
Like we were kind of like, yeah, let's do this.
And if we just look, I guess it's this twin dynamic that we have. Just by one look, we know, like, okay, you're gonna take over. Or, I see you messing up. I'm gonna jump in there and save you. So there was a lot of that going on while we
Also,
started.
We have the dynamic of like she can start a sentence and I can just finish it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
It came to it was our benefit.
It was an advantage that we have.
each
Sure.
other to play
Sure.
off of each other, but at the same time we felt alone because we're always together.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing. So we're just winging it half the time when we first started.
Yeah.
We were just like, all right, I guess this feels good. Let's just go with
you
it.
get this opportunity to do this coverage, right? And then where does that take you?
We were able to do the Grammys, the Latin Grammys, the Billboard Awards.
So you must have done a good job. They're giving you like,
So when we're doing this, it goes so fast that while you're experiencing all of this, you're not even realizing that you're taking in and absorbing everything and going with the motion and put the camera on and the earpiece and keep it moving and start writing what you need to say.
Yes.
It's one of those things that you just get into like this robotronic mode where
You
just go.
yeah.
But it's funny you say that because during that time from like, okay, now we're going to cover the Latin Grammys and then we're going to do in between all that time, we're second guessing ourselves a lot because we don't really know what we're doing.
What does that look like, the second guessing? Are you guys like at night after work, at dinner, just the two of you being like, holy shit, I can't believe we did that? Or, hey, we should do that different. Like, what does second guessing mean?
Second guessing is like just doubting what we just said. Was that great? Did that make sense? Were
God,
people
what-
tuned in? Was this even relevant? Or we should have said it this way, or maybe I should have done it this way, or I shouldn't have asked that
Or you don't
question.
even want to see the playback because I can't see it. No.
And so
How
it's
did
very
you
hard.
build was it each other's support, or were there like mentors or people along the way that like said, hey, you got it, make these adjustments? Like, how did you grow besides, maybe it was just each other's support?
It was each other's support, but also family, right? But then with family, they are family, so they're gonna say that was great.
Great. Yeah, you guys are so great. We did it. We were lucky enough to have some great producers that would guide us like, okay, next time when you want to ask that question, go around it this way so it's not so, direct.
Okay.
You don't want to offend an artist or whatever, or maybe you shouldn't have asked that. You should have let go of that. So we had some guide, but most of it was like just us two going over it at night, like, man, I think you shouldn't have said that, or hey, no, we did good. This came out great. Why are we being so mean to each other? Why are we
Okay.
being hard on ourselves?
So you're learning on the job. You're kind of putting the wings on the plane as it's taking off, right?
Yeah.
And you're just learning. And then so you do the Grammys, and then one thing leads to the next, and then what?
So after 7 years of being with Univision, when we thought we were getting a promotion, we got a demotion. So at that point, we're like, what?
It was a slap in the face, but
Wait, what happened?
We
well,
were, I think, part-timers. We were doing all of this as a part-timer.
For the 7 years.
For the 7 years.
Okay.
That's the one thing I was
paying your
saying.
dues. The
We
big
were
thing, paying our dues.
And when you start off in radio, don't think you're going to be on this high ball making 7 figures.
You're lucky if you're making, minimum.
Right.
You should be good. So we just thinking we were gonna get a full-time job benefits. That didn't happen. So we were like, you know what?
Time's to go.
You have to know where what your worth is. And at that point, we were very grateful to Univision and the experience, but it was time to move on.
Sure.
And so we left.
And that same day, we got a call from CBS Radio because they had just fired a bunch of people there and were looking
For new talent.
For new
And
talent.
I remember the call was, hey, we're sorry you guys just got let go, but we have a morning opportunity for you. Are you interested?
And it was just like that. It
Yeah.
was- we didn't expect it. We're like, all
Totally
right.
different dynamic. You know, the Latin market is one thing, general market, whole different ballgame. Because when we were in the Latin market, we had an accent,
In English.
and they kept saying that.
We were too American.
Can we hear it?
What, the Spanish? O
Yeah.
sea, nosotras hablamos así, el español. Yo no creo que tengo acento, tal vez un poco acento caribeño, no sé. But for Univision,
You have to be neutral.
perfect Spanish. You got to be neutral.
Right.
And so
It was hard for us because we did go take Spanish lessons so we
Okay.
could improve our vocabulary and our pronunciations. You know, Caribbeans.
That wasn't me. Like, that's
to,
not
like-
Yeah.
I want my personality to sound.
Yeah.
So if I say a word and I forget to pronounce the R correctly,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when we get to the general market, they're like, hey, you guys have a Spanish accent. Can you work on that? So
Oh my God, we don't win here.
Yeah.
But you know, we didn't let it stop us. We
No.
just kept like, this is who we are. We'll work on it, but I'm definitely not gonna change who our
that was
essence.
a scary moment because we had 7 years to build a fan base in the
Okay.
Latin market. Now we're over at CBS. Are we going to be receptive to these listeners? Are they
Right.
going to like us?
Yeah. So
We suck.
so what happened?
We
Once
be
again,
ourselves. You just
shoot
be
from the hip and just fake it to make it and do your thing.
What did they have you covering in the beginning there?
We were, so it was the first time we were co-hosts to a
Okay.
morning show.
Okay.
So we had the main host, which was Ty Bentley.
Okay.
And then we were the co-host. He was always lead, and then we'd follow. And we had different segments and stuff like that. And
Okay.
he
Talk
came
about
from South
entertainment.
Dakota. We're from the tri-state, so we know, like, New York.
Was this national?
No,
No.
this was local.
Local, but he's from whatever.
He came from South
Midwest,
Dakota.
okay.
And started living here in
Okay.
New York.
Okay.
That was fun.
It was fun, but it was a challenge for us because we grew up very old
Strict.
school, strict parents, which I appreciate
Yeah.
because it saved us from a lot of drama that I
sure.
saw my friends go through. But we would censor ourselves. Like, we were afraid to sometimes say what we really thought, or if it had to do with sex or drugs or something, we're like, oh no, taboo. We can't say that.
'Cause you're
Mom's
covering,
listening.
you're covering entertainment, so some of that
Covering
stuff.
everything.
Yeah.
And so, and sometimes the main host, Ty, would ask us and we would not talk about it, even relationships.
Yeah.
You know,
We'd
no.
hold back. We'd hold back.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating for him, for the host, to build a show.
Yeah.
Jinx. And at the time, we didn't understand, like, what is this guy's problem? Like, why is he trying to,
Pride.
push me to
Yeah.
say something that
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable, or maybe I don't want to say. And it took us a while to figure out, like, he's not. He's just actually trying to run a show, and we're not giving him.
And we learned that when we went to Florida. After 2 years with CBS, we left, moved to Florida, and got our own show. Like,
Okay.
we were the ones now leading,
Okay.
which was a challenge for us.
Because we didn't know what we were.
That's on
half the
TV?
time- yeah.
It was on, no, just radio.
On radio, okay.
Miami.
We're doing afternoons. First time leading our own show. First time working together in a different dynamic. Like, we really have to trust each other. We don't have another guy leading us.
Yeah.
We are the ones leading. So
We
that
got into a lot of fights inside that studio because she thought I was bossing her around. I wasn't. I was keeping time. No, I wasn't. And then she thought that I was cutting her off. I'm like, no, I'm not cutting you off.
right,
I'm
'cause
just like, we have to hit post and we gotta keep this moving. And so we needed to learn how to trust.
each other.
Right. She knew what she was doing. I knew what I was doing. We just needed to come together. Really,
Yeah.
It was a different dynamic. We
And we
weren't
were-
twin sisters. We were co-workers.
Yeah. So we
Right.
do trust each other, but when it came to business,
Yeah.
we had to learn that.
And you were you guys so you moved to Miami?
Living
Yeah.
together, working
Living together.
together.
So when you do the show in the afternoon in Miami, and then you finish up and you go home, how is that? Like if you're 24/7 together, twins, going back and forth, all the stuff like
I can tell you right away, we barely spoke to each other. At home, we did not say a word to each other. Not because we were upset with each other, just because
There's nothing to say. We spent the whole day together. Like, what are you going to tell me that I didn't see you go through?
Right.
And when you're in the studio, you're giving off so much energy. You're hyper. You're, talking about different topics and celebrities and things that are going on locally.
People calling in.
And so when you turn off the mic, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
There's not,
You've given it
You
all.
left it on the field.
we didn't even turn on the radio.
Yeah.
Like, no music.
Yeah.
Quietness.
Yeah, just quietness.
Yeah.
And actually, living in Florida was the first time where sometimes we weren't always together. She'd go to the mall and I'd go do something else. Since people are
We're individuals.
everyone's used to seeing us together because for the most part we are. But there are times where maybe I don't want to go where she's going, or maybe I don't want to wear what she's wearing. And to people, sometimes they take that as an immediate, oh, they're fighting. Something's going on. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, no, we're just
Going into the health aspect, in New York, it's the hustle and bustle, it's move or get moved.
Yeah.
Right? When we moved to Florida, we were confused for about a year because we saw people, they were so laid back.
Yeah.
And everything was slow. You go to a restaurant, you're waiting half an hour to 45 minutes for a menu. Like, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
the sense of urgency.
Let's go.
Yeah.
really had us confused. Like, what's wrong
But
with
we
people?
learned to just let go and actually live life.
Yeah.
And so then when we came back to New York and we're on KTU, we weren't as so like, oh my God, we gotta go.
Hurry up,
go,
we gotta
go, go.
work. It's all work. You gotta make that money.
So after Miami was KTU?
Yes.
After my
All right.
KTU.
Before we talk about KTU, the Amazing Grace, and the kind of how you've gotten to where you are, is it okay if I ask some questions? Because there's a lot of stuff you said.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you guys, given who you are, you probably you do a million of these things, and I find if I was someone like you, I'd want cool different questions, not the same questions. And if I'm listening and I've heard you guys talk a lot, I'd want to hear a different perspective. So I'm listening to you, and there's a lot of cool questions I have, at least what I think are cool questions in my head. So I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first thing is, if you go back and you talked about college and education and then whatever, so probably half of the people that I admire didn't get a formal education. I think people confuse the term education with college. College is a form of education.
Right.
And often it's a necessary form, an important form, and often it's not. So we're doctors, right? I don't want someone operating on me who didn't get their medical degree, because
Agreed.
that's not something you need to have something. But to be honest with you, the guy who's fixing my house, the construction guy, the best construction guys observe and get experience, right? Most of the stuff out there, the real education, you need education, but the reason most people are uneducated is not because they don't have a college degree. It's because they don't pursue things the way you did. And you said some stuff, like I heard you say, you want coffee? I get the coffee. You want this? I get this. Just the notion of a 7-year part-time gig right now, 99% of people, 100% then would think you're dumb for doing that, right? But look where you are. And our philosophy always, and Mo's here, he hears this in our business all the time. When people come in and they start, doctors, non-doctors, and they're the first questions when they ask us, what's the vacation? They could be straight up. We've had Harvard guys, Yale guys come to interview, right? CV, you'd be like, dude, you got to, right? I'll text Mo, get me out of the meeting. We're done. Because if those are the kinds of questions you have, we're not interested.
It's funny you
wouldn't
said
even
that.
take vacation.
We wouldn't take vacation,
Right.
because in our mind, it's like, if I'm not there, someone is going to come in and scoop up all this hard work I've put in. So we knew the first when you're paying your dues, it's all work. There's a purpose in the long run. And so we were scared to take vacation.
Can you talk more about that work ethic? Because you guys, you're so nice and you're so pleasant. I feel like, you ever see the swan? They're beautiful and elegant, but underneath
They're pedaling.
So I know that you do that? Can you talk a little bit about your work? Like, is it your family? Like, do you push each other?
Yeah.
Like, no days off mentality. Where does that come from? And people, they throw around the term work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I respect people, and I'm not judgmental, but I'm not the most politically correct guy. Like, we've never had work-life balance. Like, people, like, we're 24/7,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit, especially, frankly, as like woman, and then you moved around, it's a little bit different, just
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about it.
I think it's very important that the newer generation, right, understand that it's not, like you said, how many vacation days am I going to get? What's my pay salary? It's the experience, right? We have that instilled in us because of our parents. They're immigrants. My mom came from Cuba. My dad came from El Salvador. And our whole lives, all we saw was my dad working 2 jobs to make ends meet and to provide a house, and my mom as well. Sometimes they were both working 2 jobs, and we had to be with our grandmother because they were just doing what amazing parents do. And so that was always instilled in us. So I don't ever remember as a little girl, I remember always waking up early.
Yeah.
You wake up early.
Early birds. And I just also saw my dad. He wanted to buy a house because he wanted us to have a place to grow up in a home and not in an apartment where we weren't able to have a backyard or whatever. We weren't exactly rich, but he worked his ass off to buy the house so we could live comfortable. Same thing with the car. He didn't want to be driving us around, his family, in a hoopty.
Yeah.
Because a car accident or whatever, he made it his business to buy the car, and he did it and paid it off.
We didn't, like my sister said, we didn't grow up rich. And
I
remember working overtime to be able to win a Gateway computer when Gateway was a thing. And so I saw that, and I appreciated the hard work. And so as we were getting older,
Put 2 and 2 together. You want something, you have to work for it.
Yeah.
going to college, we didn't have the money to go. I knew I had to work for it, so I got a job early at 17. I was working my butt off so I can pay for college.
What was your job at 17?
Party City.
Old Navy.
Okay, all right.
And then we went to Lowe's.
Hardware store for 5 years. I was
pretty handy
mixing
around.
paints,
Did
cutting
what were you doing?
plywood.
Mixing paint?
Tell him, if you would, which so impressive.
Oh.
How old is Dad, and what did Dad just do in El Salvador?
My dad is 73. 72. He's going to be 73, I believe.
And he went to you to get clearance to see if he can hike up the tallest volcano in El Salvador.
Wow.
Now, he suffered a heart attack 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time coming back from his surgery, the cardiologist sees him. The first question he had for him was, will I be able to hike a volcano? I remember my mom looking at him like, really? That's the question you're going to ask? Something he always wanted to do, and he got it done.
And so also what was instilled in us by our dad was to work out. He always ran. Always working out. He always, no matter what, he would go run around the park.
So how many days a week do you guys work out?
So here's the thing.
See, what had happened was,
We used to work out like 3 times a day. When we were in our 20s, we would work out maybe twice a day for an hour. And then, you get older,
when we
life.
came to KTU, that all changed.
We worked like three days out of the week.
Yeah.
I've been lazy, I'm not going to lie, for the last 2 months. Haven't done much of anything, just a lot going on. But mostly we danced a lot and we did work out. We would work out 3 times a week.
Yeah, we
We'd
did.
take different classes, weight lift.
I think that all changed, I want to say 4 years into coming back to New York City. I think the pressure and the stress and the anxiety level that was being put on us.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. And the work-life balance wasn't there. And that's like, we're so tired all the time that we just stopped going to the gym, which is horrible because we used to be so active and then we completely just cold turkey.
But was it because the time that you're on air? Or was
Yeah,
it
it was,
the
because-
outside of the air time?
It was
7 to midnight, and so because we love what we do, we'd get to the radio station like at 3 in the afternoon. We'd
but we wouldn't go to sleep. Imagine, we finish at midnight, an hour coming back of traffic. So by the time we put head to pillow, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up by 7 because I'm an early bird. So I was not sleeping, and I don't take naps.
Yeah, once I'm up, I'm up. I've never been a person to take naps.
So tell us now, when you come back to KTU, because you guys pop off, right? So you come to KTU, it's a huge market,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's the biggest market. Tell us like the beginning of that journey, and then how you kind of took off from there.
It was exciting. Back in New York City, in one of the most legendary radio stations in the tri-state and in the nation, really. We were so excited. I mean,
We wondered, or people are going to remember us from our time when we were in New York.
and they did. So that was a nice feeling. Like, oh,
Okay.
they still remember who
They
Lulu
followed
and Lala
us. They
Yeah.
followed us. A lot more pressure. iHeart is a big company.
Yeah.
We had a lot more celebrities coming in the door
To do interviews, which was fun. Social media. When we started in radio, social media, Twitter had just come out.
Right.
So the pressure of now you're doing radio, but you're also, this is a second job. You have to be socially active on all platforms, and every other day there's a new platform, and you have to figure that out. And it was just a lot. So it was
It was a lot of fun. I am very grateful for the time that we were at KTU. We got to meet a lot of great people. We made a lot of good friends that we still connect with, and I can't complain about our time over at KTU.
But the timing, it was a struggle constantly. Just
The no sleep.
The no sleep. We did not sleep. I remember people would say, "How do you sleep?"
That's that you guys were on 5 days a week, right?
5 days on a week,
So
5
Saturday-
hours. Yeah.
Right. So Saturday and Sunday's kind of yours.
Kind of, but then when you have like
Sometimes you had events.
You got stuff related to the job.
events
Yeah.
or remotes, you're standing, you're going there with Dunkin' Donuts and it's a grand
with a
opening and
client.
you have to be there.
So-
So sometimes it was 7 days a week.
And if there was nothing going on, we would just stay home and do nothing. Just like, okay, let me get my rest. Or hang out with the family, because we didn't see anybody.
Right.
Our parents worked when they didn't retire during the day.
Everybody worked during the day.
Sister, nieces, everything's during the day. And at
Yeah.
nighttime, when we got home, everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
So we didn't see anyone.
Yeah. And during this, like at your age, you're like so focused on your career. Are there like, you have immigrant parents, our parents are immigrants. All right. So actually, and Kavir and Mo, we're all products of immigrant parents. And which a lot of America is, right? They're, straight up, they're like, hey, you need to like look for someone to marry, blah, blah, blah. You need to say, I'm sure, I'm speculating, but I'm sure you got some of that. And as like, how is that in playing in? Like, is the family like fully like, no, go grind, do your thing, build your career? Or are they like, hey, you got to like, kind of look out for your personal life? And then how did you balance that? Like, give us your perspective on how your definition of work-life balance is.
Well, it's funny because at first when we started in radio, and we wanted to pursue this
entertainment business.
we had a few family members like, that's cute that you're doing this whole radio thing, but
Right.
when are you going to get like a real job?
Right.
9 to 5. Because they didn't understand that
Sure.
our hours were
Yeah.
kind of
Plus, we were getting
crazy.
paid crap, so they didn't see it.
They didn't see like
All this time invested, the payoff isn't great. What are you doing?
Yeah.
and it made me feel bad, like almost like embarrassed. What am I doing? Is this gonna work out? But my parents were always supporting this. This is what you want to do, and this is what makes you happy, and you're passionate about it. Then go for it.
It wasn't really family members that told us, hey, clock is ticking. What are you gonna get married? It was the people from the outside
Okay.
that would sometimes tell us that. And
How old are you? Still no kids? Not married? Like, makes you feel like, damn, is something wrong
I'm
with me?
succeeding in my career, but as an individual, am I failing because I'm not married and don't have kids? When is the right time to do all that? You start now, as you get older, you're like, what am I doing?
Did I miss the ball?
Did I do the right thing?
Because sometimes, like, I'm in that position right now where I'm older. I'm not married yet. I definitely don't have kids. And for women, that's a big thing. Like, you do have a clock. So I've been thinking a lot, like, should I have kind of like stopped earlier and maybe really thought about this or not? I mean, I don't have any regrets because I love what I do. I still love what I do.
I think you'll do fine. I
But
don't think you're gonna have any difficulty.
But yeah, I don't. It's
But
never.
I don't think I've ever.
It
we
never weighed heavy on me.
No, we just always. You have to trust your gut.
Sure.
I think your gut tells you, hey, it's time to maybe leave or
Yeah.
do something
Our
else.
sister, she Lily, you know her. She was more of like, I have to be married by a certain age. I have to pop out my first kid at a certain age. She was more like by the book because
Yeah.
that's her personality. That's how she chooses to live her life. That's her, which is great. We weren't like that. We were more of like, I want, like, this is our job. This is fun for us. We like what we do. And we know we have time for kids and husbands later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Plus, I think the unique relationship you have, there's a built-in partner that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Like the support that you need, like I have Iyad and I'm lucky I have my wife, but like, you know, that's like a part, like Iyad, like you guys, the way you live together, like me and Iyad, obviously we grew up together, we lived in the same house in like North Bergen and blah, blah, blah. But then we lived together in college, medical school and residency. We were roommates.
Did
Straight
y'all
up.
fight? Did y'all fight?
Not really.
I don't remember like a fight.
You're just much easier.
No, when we fight, it'd be against others. Somebody did a problem in the.
Like, what do we fight about? We didn't fight. Like, he's like, we're going to throw a party. Okay, get black light. Like, there's no arguments. You want to go out for dinner? Let's get steak. Like, what are you going to fight about?
You guys are so simple.
But what I'm like, when I'm hearing you, it's so valuable to have like that partner that you can look at who, like, if everybody's telling you from the outside, what are you doing? What are you doing? You look at somebody who you respect and says, no, we're doing the right stuff. It gives you that sense of confidence. Because one thing, like listening to you guys, like just being in the room and the energy, is like this, like very calm, very pleasant, strength, like confidence, like, and it exudes. And I'm sure that carried you through because, like, if I don't know you and I'm listening and you're like, oh yeah, we went from New York and then we skipped, then we went to Miami and then we came back to New York and we were talking to celebrities. Like, you talk to celebrities, 99% of people shit themselves. They talk to celebrity. Like, forget you're on live TV and stuff like that. That's hard enough just not talking to a celebrity. Now you're talking to a celebrity and you're just flying by that. And that's like a core strength. And I think a lot of it comes from your family. Like, what you said about your parents supporting what you want.
Yeah.
Our mom, I don't know if you remember, our mom would say, I don't care what I don't care if you pick up the garbage or you sell hot dogs. I'll be happy for you as long as you
Best in the world.
as long as you're the
at
best
doing
at that, as long as you take pride and you're the best at it, I'll be proud, right?
Yes.
And so then that tells you, okay, don't focus on what you do, just focus on finding something you're going to do the hell out of it, right? Whatever it is. And if you take that, you know, to the bank, so to speak, you're going to be very, very successful.
Yeah.
So then you guys do KTU, right? And you had a good experience, it seems, right? And then what happens next?
What happens next?
Well, in between KTU, we were
On the Amazing Race.
which
I'll
was
never
While you were on,
while we were on KTU. They let us go for about 2 months. We had to take a leave of absence.
So how does that work? Like, do you guys apply? Like,
You
does
can
someone call you?
apply.
No, but you guys don't apply. Like, someone calls you, and they're like,
They reached out. They actually DM'd us. Everything's on the DM nowadays.
That's
They
true.
DM'd us, and we were thinking like, "What is this? I don't believe it." So we vetted to see. I'm like, "Is this legit?" And it was. And so we flew out to LA. You have to go through a whole,
Psychological exam. You're in front of different producers to see how are you in camera, the dynamic.
they didn't camera test you guys.
Yes, they
They
did.
did.
They camera
They
test
test
everyone.
everyone.
Oh wow.
And what is that? What's a camera test consist of?
You're basically
Like this. They're asking questions. They
You're
want
in
to.
front of like a bunch of CEOs and producers, and they're judging you on your personality.
Ah.
You have to be you, right? They want
Yeah.
you to be as authentic as
Dude,
you
I
are.
would be fucked.
Yeah.
I'd say there's somebody asked me a question, this middle finger, all of it.
I think they would love it.
It's great TV. Like, will they be great TV? Will people, relate to them? And also, we don't want a liability. So if you're too kookity cuckoo,
Right.
they might pass on you.
Right.
Right.
But we had heard of the show
How long was that interview with all of them?
probably like a week.
A week worth in LA.
Yeah,
Wow.
a week's worth in LA.
Like every day.
You have to go through a physical. You have to go through a psychological test that's like an hour and a half long
Like 1,000 questions.
or more.
And it's the same type of question written differently. It's like, I was the last one out of there. I
was
felt
the second
stupid.
person out of that room, and she was
the
I'm
last.
like, what are you doing?
And then I walked out of there like, I'm dumb. Why did I take so long?
like, there's no right or wrong answer.
There isn't. But I'm like, I'm taking my time. I don't know what this is going to say about me, whatever.
You're like, which one makes me not crazy?
Cool.
We get picked, and What was our first leg? I don't
No,
know.
we were-
Scotland. No, London.
London. It was one of the best experiences we've ever had. You're
Yeah.
traveling through the world, going to places you've never thought of even going, doing things that you'd never even think of doing.
And learning about the culture
Yeah.
and understanding why people think differently.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things people have to do. You
Yeah.
have to travel.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
A lot of us tend to be so like our little
100%.
4x8 radius. We don't leave, and sometimes you don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's because you haven't traveled.
Yeah.
So different
So
overseas.
what's your favorite place that you've ever traveled to in the world?
Wow. Well, I love El Salvador. Obviously, I've been there, from there.
I
But
think the most-
besides El Salvador,
Switzerland?
Switzerland.
Was just
gorgeous.
beautiful.
What, physically? Like,
Just the mountains, the water was so clean.
Yeah.
They suggested to drink faucet water versus the water,
Right.
the bottled water. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the opposite in the U.S.
Bathroom parks. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen what
No.
the bathrooms look
I
like
was-
in a park.
Bidets
It's
and
like a
all.
bidet
in the park.
in a park. You walk in, it sanitizes
So you have
itself.
a day in the park?
It's
Yes.
like bidet, like
So you're dropping trout in public in the park? in
No, I
Switzerland?
mean you're going inside.
Uh-huh.
inside,
Yeah.
but the toilet's like it talks to you, it cleans itself, it sprays you. Like you literally don't even have to do anything. You're basically it's doing
That's
it for
their
you.
porta potty. That's how.
That's
Yes.
their porta potty. So
Wow.
if Park 80, just picture.
And is that how the whole society is there? Like
from
everything's
what we
like
saw,
top
this
notch.
was Lugano.
But we went to different parts of Switzerland and
Zurich, yeah.
I never saw any garbage anywhere.
Right.
Gum, like just gum on the. I didn't see it. I'm
Yeah.
like, where are
People
we?
were so nice. Not saying that us here in the U.S. are not nice, but it was just a different. It was a different world.
And then how about the experience itself, like on the Amazing Race with other people in the competition and so on?
I don't think I've ever had
So much fun.
anxiety in my life.
It's fun anxiety if there's such a
Just
thing.
think about it. You are racing for $1 million and you have no idea what they're going to have you do. And boy, did we hike and eat a lot of cheese. We were hiking and hiking.
A lot of running, but it's the anxiety that's what I think gets everyone that goes on that
But
show.
what made it anxious about
You
it?
don't
So
know what you're doing the next day.
You don't
because
know.
of that. Not
Because
that you're
of-
not fit.
No.
Not that you're not ready to go.
Right, because you don't even have to
It's
be
the
fit.
uncertainty of the next
The
morning's
uncertainty.
race.
And you don't know where you are. Are you in first place or are you in last place?
Right.
You don't know where anybody is at.
Right.
And so just
The mind starts to play on you, so you
Right.
have to really like mentally be strong. And no matter how strong you are, it gets to you eventually. Some leg of the race, you just have a falling out of
and you have to think too when you're racing and the race is done, right? The leg is over. It's not like you're gonna go and hang out. No, you go and you're secluded in a hotel room. You're not allowed out. There's no phone.
So you guys didn't interact with the other
no,
throughout.
cannot interact with other teams.
Oh, really?
Unless-
If the cameras aren't on, because they
Okay.
want to save that for the camera.
But that's similar for most folks. That's similar, a replication of what happens for anybody
Yeah.
that is doing the work like yourselves.
Yeah.
Right? You wake up, you go to sleep at night, you wake up, you do your thing, you're at work. Whether you're pumping gas or you're treating the most difficult patient on the planet or you're interviewing the hardest people on the planet,
Yeah.
you don't know what to prepare for.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
going to happen. And so the comment about the anxiety, that's exactly what happens for everybody.
Everyday
So
life.
How did you deal with it?
We had the leg. We would sit down and go over like, okay, how did we do? We should have done this, or we didn't read the clue enough.
Yeah.
We were at each other's throats. You weren't listening to me. We weren't listening to each other. And that's how we would be like, all right, tomorrow, we're not going to do that. We're going to calm down. And
We would
just
exercise in the morning.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
would
so-
stretch.
exercise.
So
We would
did you have a regimen for the exercise?
Yeah, we would stretch every morning, do different because you're running a lot. So
Squats,
definitely.
definitely.
Just a lot of stretch. We jumping jacks. We did the most,
push-ups to get those muscles going.
and just that was very important. Stretching in
And
the morning.
hydrate.
Hydrate.
How about the diet?
I
So-
barely ate.
Right?
I
when
barely ate.
Less food, you function better.
yeah, and also we're very picky eaters, so a lot of the food that was provided we didn't like.
I
So
would
we were
throw
just
it all up. And I don't know if it was because of anxiety, but I'm like, I'm not eating until I get done with this leg.
Right.
Just give me a bottle of water and I'm good.
yeah.
Somebody said that they need to see you guys on the race.
You guys would be great.
Crazy.
You guys
I mean,
would be
you
great
can
on
go.
the
I'll
race.
cheer him on. I'll hook him up. I'll meet him after. I'll meet him up top.
Are you guys scared of heights?
No, I'm not saying that.
You would jump off a plane or a bungee jump.
Yeah, whatever.
Fuck yeah.
You'd eat bugs if need be.
Yes, yes.
If somebody else did it, I can do it.
I'm
Whatever.
gonna call the producers up and suggest you two. You guys would be great.
I had a question come in. They said, great conversation. The question is, how do you believe radio programming can play a role in improving health among listeners?
That's a good question.
Particularly in communities where access to accurate healthcare information may be limited.
I think that the programming nowadays in radio is not what it was when we first started. I think it's definitely changed. A lot of people would tell us, "Oh, can you play this?" We, as on-air jocks, don't have any control of what music is being played.
And this is across the board. Any radio station, every radio station is ran the same way. It doesn't matter if it's iHeart or Univision or
The jocks don't have say. Everything's already programmed. So whatever music is in the system is what's going to play. As far as being able to talk about what you said, yes, I do feel like we should have more talks about health, especially after COVID. When COVID was going on and we were on air,
It was so hard
it
to
was
talk.
very hard to navigate because we don't do hard news. We're more of, light entertainment. But we had to cover it. How much is too much and how much is not enough? It was a balance. And I don't feel like we talk about it as much as we should. And I don't know why. I think that
Well, it depends too, because there's talk radio, which is usually AM, so they're given a lot more time.
I think they're probably talking about like FM radio.
FM radio, morning show and afternoons usually get more time to speak. You're open a little bit more. When it's middays and night show, they close you off a little bit. It's more just keep the music going. You could get into topic, 1 minute max. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. So it was a struggle for us because we do have our opinions. We do have a lot to say.
We would try to talk when we had the opportunity to say our thing, or we would try to incorporate as much as possible. But sometimes you are, what's the word?
Muzzled?
Muzzled. And certain things can't be said, or you have to be careful with how you say things, because nowadays people get offended by everything, and so it's like you're on a very thin line on
Who gives a shit? If somebody's offended, that's their problem, not yours.
100%.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But it would weigh heavy on us sometimes because you don't want to.
During COVID, we got a lot of people commenting saying, "Hey, you guys aren't talking enough. Vaccines, why aren't you talking about it?" But then you had other people saying, "How could you be telling people to do this and that?
You're not doctors, so.
Who are you to talk about health? You're not doctors. You're not, So it was kind of like, well, what do we do? So we always try to balance it off like, hey, this is going on. Talk to your doctor and let see what they tell you. We're not experts on health, but
We'd always
try to
figure out a way to kind of marinate what we're talking and then incorporate that too.
And
I mean,
now with
given what you guys do, like fitness wise, and like you guys take it pretty seriously, like working out, like as much
Especially
as-
now. I got to shout out Joe Taggart, our trainer.
So yeah, like, and the diet and the Amazing Grace, like I actually think you guys can do like a health talk. I really do. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I'll give you my opinion, and you tell me if I'm off base. But like, first of all, when you say like I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. Let me tell you something. Couple of things. Okay, I'm a doctor. Doctors are more out of shape than regular people. Okay, all my professors, all the guys that taught to me about nutrition, cardiac stuff, you don't look at them and be like, yeah, that guy's got it figured out. Trust me. Okay, they just memorize the books. These days, even the media, like it's like decentralized. Like people are going to different resources to learn about whatever they want to learn about, entertainment. Like if you look at like the Joe Rogans of the world, if you look at whatever, they're not journalists. Right? These are people that are just regular people, whatever they are, but they're authentic and they're real, and their personal experiences influences people more than anything. And so your experience in health, like the Amazing Grace, that's physically stressful, right?
Yes.
Okay, you have more expertise in your own health
Right, how
than
do you
most
feel about
doctors I
that?
know.
Right.
Like you
never
put
thought
yourself,
of that. I
you
never
put yourself,
thought of it that
and
way.
looking at you like your positive mental state.
What about not even just the race? How about a simple thing? If take the profession of, you had to clock in and clock out to make a living, where you're done with work at midnight.
Right, like night shift disorder, right?
Which you'll see there's certain professions, like even you mentioned COVID, right? People that even if they have to, like police officers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nurses,
nurses,
truck drivers.
truck drivers, garbage, the
We take care of these
sanitation
guys.
engineers.
They're
These
because their
guys that have
circadian
to
rhythm
do
is screwed up.
things.
Right.
People say like, oh, like it's app. How about at Lowe's, the people that have to package
Right.
and bring the things in. All of these things, the fitness folks are the ones that are. You're learning that in the healthcare industry. One of the big things that we talk is he talks about this a lot is nutrition is a crazy issue. So when you say you didn't eat, well, there's a huge push now for fasting.
Yes, I've been
Right,
seeing that.
right. You could pretty
So
that
that's
up.
not
Yeah,
bad.
you could pretty that up and say you were intermittent fasting before anybody.
And now
Right,
that
straight
you
up.
say that, I noticed that every time we have like an interview, or let's say like if we had to do like the Grammys, we would never eat before a big gig or before a performance of some sort. We were like, no, we'll eat afterwards. And sometimes that was like a whole day thing, because I just work. I don't know why. I'm like, that's how I work. I have to function that way.
Right.
And your blood sugar is not like you're not foggy.
No.
You're focused, right?
But what would you say the best thing for the kid, for like the kids that are listening, that are going to take everything they're saying? What's the number one advice that you would give them for what you've done? So Hudson County, twins, you've done it all in a short term for a lot of folks. What would be the best advice for somebody that wants to get into the entertainment industry?
and not lose their mind and
Not
have their head on straight.
I'd say if you're really passionate about it, just go for it. Don't let anybody or
Trust your gut.
yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of outside noise telling you can, or you should do this and you should do that, and
Giving
do it this
opinions.
way, and giving a lot of opinions. You gotta wash all that out. And when I mean everybody, family, friends, partners, and you just gotta follow what your gut is telling you, because most of the time, it's right. And I don't know, as human beings, sometimes we don't listen to it and think that we know, but follow your gut. Follow your gut. Trust what the big man above
Has in store for
has
you.
in store for you. That's actually the number one thing that
Sure.
you should focus on. And
One thing I would never do that I'm learning it the hard was I would never sleep, and I always tell like sleep. I remember Rihanna saying this in an interview too. When you're young, you think, I'll sleep when I die. I don't need it. 8 hours of sleep at least. I was always used to running on like 4 hours of sleep. 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, it's catching up to you. You know, your body's asking you, please, I need rest. Listen to it.
yeah.
So you mentioned Rihanna. Let me ask you guys now a fun question. Who's the politest famous person you interview?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Politest. There's been so many.
LL Cool J pops up to
Well,
LL Cool J. He is a badass. You know, he's a legend.
Yeah.
He's got so much experience. LL Cool J. LL Cool J.
He's 21 years old.
Okay.
Zeke, you said Usher was overrated 5 minutes. Like,
By the way, Usher's doing the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He said he's overrated.
I don't think as someone that's overrated would be
Yeah.
doing the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But LL Cool J, you would think he'd walk in there with like, you know, I'm LL Cool J and very, very, you know, demanding, and he was so cool, opening doors for other people.
We actually saw a lot of the older generations, like the LLs of the world, come in so humble. They perform. They're not lip singing. Or, not that I'm knocking anybody that does.
Sure.
But there's a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
In the newer, again, I'm not knocking anybody.
No entitlement.
so that's
Right.
that's the best. You mentioned Uncle L
I would have
for
to-
that. What about the? Go ahead.
Well, I was able and blessed to interview Robin Williams, and he was
Wow.
a genius.
Wow.
Like when you walked in that room and you just felt a different energy and the wittiness that he had.
Wow.
It was something that I'm so grateful I was able to experience that.
That's
Now,
cool.
now, if I may, who's the most difficult?
Let's see. I don't think it was difficult. I think he was young and he was going through a lot in the public eye.
Hulala.
When Justin Bieber, he wasn't difficult. It was his people, his camp, because we walked in knowing we were going to interview him, but it was the don't ask this, don't do this, don't do that, and then our program
And I asked
director
about
saying,
Selena Gomez.
don't do this, don't do that. It's like, all right, well then we have all these restrictions. What's the point of interviewing the person? Like, I can't
And
ask.
you guys get that in the industry.
lot.
I have to say, one of the
But he was so cool.
He was
It wasn't.
cool.
So, you
Which is
realized
weird.
it wasn't really him.
I had an experience with an actress that was she was a total B,
Yeah.
and that I got up and walked out.
Yo, Mo, B means a bitch.
I forgot her name, but she was in X-Men. She was the redhead. She was the one that was with Cyclops or whatever his name was. She was the redhead. I forgot her name. I'm sitting down, about to do the interview, and she's on her phone. And I'm like, okay, I only have 2 minutes. That's what they give you. And she's on her phone, and then her dog, and the dog. And I'm like, are you ready? And she was I'm gonna say it, such a bitch that I was like, what is it?
Jean Grey.
Yes, Jean Grey. I was like, I can't. I'm like, I'm doing you a favor. I don't have to be here.
Right.
You promoting your
Wasted
movie.
3 minutes of my life that I'm never gonna get back because your dog and your cell phone. I'm here to promote your movie, and you're not giving me the time of day. I got up and I walked out. Then I got in trouble. But I'm like, I'm not putting up with it.
But do you see? Sometimes, by the way, a couple times, like in
Z, before you ask that one, when you did that, just a quick question. Did your mom or your dad call, or your sister that's not here, did they call you and be like, yo, man, what's wrong? I'm
No.
just curious out of personal life.
I think I was.
No, but my producer did. And he was
Your
like,
producer.
what did you just do? I can't believe it. And I'm like, what did you want? I have nothing for you. She doesn't want to talk. And I think it was because she saw that I was so young and didn't think I was
yeah.
Experienced enough.
important. And so I'm like, okay, so if you don't want to talk to me, then I don't want to talk to you.
Sure.
So I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And that was the first time in my career that I put my foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Standing
like,
on
no.
business.
But we,
Standing on business.
yeah. But we do realize some of these artists, they're just as nervous walking in
Right.
than we are interviewing them. They don't know what we're gonna ask them, and we don't know if they're having a bad day. You don't know what's going on in their personal lives, or So we always feel them out at the beginning, like Nick Jonas, super cool dude. He's very chill.
Jersey
laid back.
guy. Jersey
Yeah.
guy.
His brother Joe, complete opposite. Very hyper, playful.
Yeah.
So when they would come in, we knew, okay. We can't be too hyper
Yeah.
for Nick.
Yeah.
But with Joe, we can go full on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But one thing, and tell me if you feel the same way. Like in the beginning, I used to be like I remember about this, the personality types and stuff. And you tell me, I don't think we ever talked about this. You tell me I think you're gonna agree with me, but let me know. I remember back in the day. This is back in the day. I remember the first couple of times when we first had the point guard for the Nets or the quarterback for the Giants, his wife bringing their kids in our practice, and first of all they used to sit there, and the rest of the day all the patients who saw them would the whole visit was just asking us about that crap, whatever. But now you take care of half the Giants and half the Jets and half of this and that, and one thing you realize whoever, people are people.
Yeah.
If I go to 10 bodegas or gas stations, 8 out of 10 of the guys I'm dealing with are awesome and 2 suck. And if I get 8 celebrity guys who bring their kids to me and they're like, Z, blah, 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 you're there with me. 8 out of 10 are the cool, they're the coolest guys. And 2 out of 10, people yeah, they're entitled. I'm like, Yeah, that guy is, but I don't see that much. Like, people are people are people.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see that or
I
no?
do see that, and I feel like a lot of the celebrities, sometimes those who get like the more diva, it's not them, it's the people around them.
Their management or
management.
Do you
publicists.
think that Z's numbers right? That it's 80%? Is that 20%?
I'm not dying by those numbers. I was making a different point, but
Yeah.
I do, because we've interviewed a number of people, and we could only say that
Maybe like
2 or 3 have been kind of like,
Yeah. And a lot, again, it has to do management, record label, publicist, lawyers, sometimes. Like, it's just a lot.
yeah,
But yeah, you're pretty spot on that. They're just people.
right. You don't see that much of a
No.
They hurt just as much as you do. They bleed the same way. They
There
have
are some
issues
that I'm
going
like-
on.
That I'll be like, oh my God, it's Janet Jackson. And she's right in front of me.
Yeah.
How do I act? You know, like,
yeah.
All right, so what's the best restaurant that you go to in walking distance?
in good old North
In
Bergen.
North Bergen.
Okay, right off the back, La Sorrentina. Italian restaurant right there on 79th Street and Memory Line Avenue.
You also have La Tapas. That's right across the street.
Their sangria is great, but it will
Hit
catch
you
up
hard.
to you.
I like Cortaditos. It's a Cuban bakery. I always have my bread and butter from there. Gotta have my coffee too.
Somebody asked, why does Ebro talk so much?
Not Ebro,
Funk Flex. Sorry.
Okay, Funk
Flex.
Flex.
Whoa.
In our station.
That was like crazy
But-
editorializing.
Funk Flex. That's just him. He likes to talk and throw those bombs. It's so annoying sometimes, but that's him.
Like, you think of Fun Flex. What do you think of?
Throw the bomb.
Or him talking in between music. That's his
Yeah.
style. Yeah.
I can't stand it. I'm like, can you let the music right out,
Well,
please?
can I say one thing with all due respect?
Get him.
When I was dipping on the West Side Highway, this is like 2003. Straight, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Like,
Say
no
it.
judgment.
Say it.
When Flex is like, I got bombs, and then he would just drop a bomb, and then he would say, I got bombs. And I swear to God, I'd be coming in from Jersey, because where does GW be, like 130? 140, 130th Street,
178,
whatever it is, it's uptown,
168,
right? Where when you come in
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Jersey, I'd be down in the 40s, and he's still dropping. He didn't he didn't say what he has to say. He's like, another one, like, and then like he'd be talking about like something that happened with Puffy or J Lo or whatever. This is back, like, that was everything back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Everything.
It's part of who he is, and people know him.
That was
because of
everything.
By the way, all radio personalities, we all know each other, whether we work at iHeart or CBS or Hot 97. We all kind of just know, and like there's like the radio life family, like we all
Lulu
talk.
and Lala, I'll tell you, when you say iHeart, CBS, like all this, a lot of the folks
Don't know.
have zero
No
idea.
idea.
Yeah, that's the
what you're
corporate
talking-
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So like, okay.
They know you.
Power, KTU, Z100, Q104.
That they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. I mean, I grew up with Funk Flex too, and it's weird if he doesn't throw a bomb. You know what I'm saying?
E, am I wrong about
Yeah.
those bombs?
Yeah,
Sometimes
you
I
ain't
have to pull
wrong,
over.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
They're like, what's this? This is a real one.
Big up to DMX, who's not
Yes.
with us.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That was my high school right there. I heard DMX. I thought I was the shit because I knew I can't rap for my life. If there's one thing I'll lose, like if the Amazing Race had something,
rap battle?
I would lose. Like very bad, and it's funny because I used to have like this
Rapping Rissa.
alter ego, like, rapping Rissa. It was so bad. Don't even. L actually asked me to rap. I'm like, hell no, I'm not gonna do that. That would be an insult to all rap, the rap genre in general. But it's just you working with all the radio personalities, and you see. Funk Flex has his own thing. He went through his own thing. Angie Martinez, Elvis Duran, like they all struggled the same way we did. We all started from the bottom and we worked our way up.
Yeah.
We made sure to like know everything. So I don't know. It's just radio is cool. So it's time to move.
I mean,
And where you at right now with the radio game, with all the social media and everything that's happening? What do you see the future of that for everybody that's going to journalism, broadcasting, and things
any
like
media.
I think you really have to understand that radio is not what it was. And social media has a lot to do with it. It's not just doing a radio show. Now you're doing a radio show, plus you're doing Not a TV because it's, well, I guess you can say that it's
It's a
you have
form
to-
of television because
Right,
you have
Instagram.
to create your show, your radio show, and also create it while doing the same thing. Like it all has to be
Visual.
Visual. So when we would do topics, we would make sure, okay, we're gonna talk about this. Well, what's it look like on Instagram? What's it look like on Facebook? Like you have to just cover all things. So it's a lot more work.
Back in the day, it was theater of the mind.
Right.
You're using all these adjectives to create this story, and people are, oh my God, I can't believe it. Now it's like they're seeing it first before you even said it.
Right.
So how do you make that story bigger than what they already saw? So you have to know that moving forward.
But that too was a struggle because now, right, you're getting paid to be a radio personality. Your job is to, put content on air, play the music. Now you're expected to do social media as well. So for us and for all radio jocks, it's like, all right, there's a digital department that's in charge of that, but now we have to do it too. So are we getting compensated for that? Because now it's more work on us,
Right.
more time away from our personal lives. And so that is something that we
A
struggled.
lot of the thing that a lot of people say radio's dead.
It's not dead.
It's not dead, and I don't think it'll ever be dead because when COVID happened, radio shot up,
Yeah.
especially talk, because people wanted to know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a form that is ever changing.
Yeah.
With the digital world, but I don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
Right.
I really
So
don't.
where are you at now? But more importantly, like as dynamic as you are, what's cooking? What's coming?
Okay.
Because there's
so-
no way it's not going down with you.
We did leave radio back in October. It was a very hard decision for us because radio's been our baby. It's what we've done our whole lives. But
It's that thing where I said before, know your worth.
Yeah.
We know our worth, so it was time to move on. It
Okay.
was time to do our own thing. We don't need anyone. We could do this on our own.
For
And
sure.
So
We've been working on something. Believe it or not, we do have.
You want to say it or you don't want to say it?
we don't want to say that.
Okay.
We're waiting.
So that's that. We're working on something but we also have done. I like to write a lot, so we wrote a
A sitcom treatment.
treatment, and we've been really working on that.
We want to tap into the behind the scenes of producing and
Oh, that's cool.
Screenwriting.
screenwriting.
So that's that. That's
Okay.
second. And third, we have land in El Salvador. And the country's doing really great now, and we've been wanting to do something with it. It's just land there. There's running water. There's electricity.
In the area that my dad grew up, there's really no school with a school for disabilities with kids that have
special needs.
so we'd like to do something with that land to help those kids over
Wow.
there. Because if not, they have to go all the way to the capital, and some people don't have the funds for that. And so if we can help
For sure.
bring that over
For sure.
there to facilitate and make life easier for those parents and for the kids to get the resources they need, I would really love to do that.
That's great.
So we've been looking into that and just excited about
Good.
giving
you
back.
guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are always fucking awesome.
Always
Love it.
looking to do more. Like
Yeah.
maybe we're what's the word? Ambitious in a good way. Like
Are you gonna do another
Radio. thing.
or no? Now in the physical activity, like a race,
If the Amazing
Like-
Race called us back, I would 100%.
you would do that again?
Yeah,
I would.
We were actually called to do the challenge. I don't know if you guys are aware of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was called twice.
But both times we couldn't make it.
What's the challenge?
The challenge is like you're doing physical challenges and you're for money.
It's
but
kind of
you're
like the
in a
amazing.
house.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Amazing Race. You're just not traveling. You're like sat on one place and you're doing different obstacles
And you're
puzzles.
going up against teams, and some of these
Okay.
things are very
Brutal.
rugged and brutal, tough. It's like you got to be fit. Here, you have to be physically fit.
Yeah.
And so maybe if they call,
We'll do it.
we'll do it.
We'll see.
Call.
We'll do it.
I think your sister's on the live. She said, lucky to call them my sisters. You're the best.
Oh, Lily, she's the best older
She's
sister.
the best.
She's the best.
She's the fucking best.
Yeah.
You guys are the best,
Yeah.
really. And I'm not saying this because we're on here with you guys, but really, I mean, you're the doctor to our nieces, you're our doctor,
you.
and anytime we have a question,
That combo is really great.
so just you guys truly are the best, and
Appreciate that. We just
anyone
don't finish each other's fucking sentences.
Your app
Like
is
you.
great. I'm sorry, like I overuse that app. I'm constantly writing for you, and someone always answers me back. So I think that's really neat what you guys have going on.
Thank you, Ma.
Yeah,
And if, by the way, like, so first of all, whenever you announce whatever you announce,
yeah.
That'll happen later on in the year.
okay, whatever it is,
Yeah.
obviously in like whatever little way we could support, like,
Thank you.
yeah, like,
And whatever you guys ever need from us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can count on us.
and the only two like things I would say, that like as a pediatrician, like, we deal, we have a ton of kids with special needs, and so like Mo and I, like, we live with like a million autistic families and members and developmental delays and so on, and they're probably like the most beautiful families we take care of because
Yeah.
you really got to be a family to get through that struggle. And so to the extent you guys do whatever you do, whatever, then you could rely on us. Remember
you.
we used to do like the Physicians for Peace stuff.
course, of course.
So whatever it is, I don't know what it is. I don't know what we could do, but I know a lot of the team would love, like if we took a trip down, helped out, taught some classes, like we'd be down, right?
Oh, that would be
So
great.
no, for sure. Just let us know. We'll figure it out, whatever it is. But we're ready to move, make a move.
Before we end, can we get Super Bowl predictions?
Are you guys
Start
football
and
people?
work it
Like,
around.
So it's the 49ers with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers because I'm over the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Over the Taylor Swift track.
Why?
I'm just over it because they've already won so
They've-
much. It's
yeah.
not about Taylor Swift, but it's like yeah, give another team a chance.
What do you think?
I actually want the Chiefs because of Taylor Swift. What? I love sports. I love football. I don't understand fully like all the technical
Technical.
stuff, but I like that it brings people together and people are so passionate about it. But I kind of hold like, so what if people are talking about Taylor Swift? Her man's in it. Like,
She's taking away from the football game,
no,
the game itself. Lala.
She actually does a good job in not.
she does exactly.
But she gets too much attention.
But that's not her fault. It's the camera. It's the NFL taking advantage.
by the
of
way,
it.
by the way,
Hold on,
I
let her
agree.
go, let her
I
go,
agree
let her
with her.
go.
Then don't show up to the game.
Right.
Then don't show up. You're a musician. Get out of there.
So
See it at home.
so you got
The 49ers.
the Niners.
I
You
got the
got
Chiefs.
the
Like,
Chiefs.
Who do you have?
So there's a whole like thing going on. Yeah, let me break down what Iyad's doing right now. 'Cause I think he's got all you fooled. So one of us likes to throw down on games,
okay.
and it may or may not be me. Okay. Yeah. Like, and so he really wants to know like what intel's out there. One, two. In terms of Taylor, so I don't know. I don't care about like I'm obviously I don't care or know, but I hear all that noise about her. I agree. Like she's dating a guy. There's a million musicians in the. By the way, in the Super Bowl, there's going to be a million celebrities. Why does she get the hate? Like I actually don't get it. I don't get it. The Chiefs, everybody thought was going to not make it this far. They did, right? They thought Kelsey was distracted and all that stuff. Mahomes is Mahomes, right? I have Iyad can finish his thing like with the, I have a different question.
Okay.
We're in the office, and I have about 19 you guys must have 100. I have 19 texts in my phone. You know when you don't answer a text for like 3 days,
Yeah.
and it stays there, and you're like when it says you have 3 messages and you have to scroll like 80 times. I have like 19 because like in the past 2, you have this. It's like people that I love. They're my people who are like, dude, Super Bowl party at my place, Super Bowl, and like 10 years ago.
Yo, Big Pun.
Knee deep.
Big Pun, that's a
Knee,
message to you,
knee deep.
bro.
No, that's the one I would go to. No. Wait. There's like 10, 10 years ago, I'd go to all of them. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit this one in Tribeca. Then I'm gonna go there to my boy's apartment. Now, I'm like, dude, I just want to go to E's place. I only want like us. Like a couple of buffalo wings. Hang on. What are you doing to watch the Super Bowl? Like, are you doing a Super Bowl party? Are you hosting? Are you driving by? Are you like No, we're just gonna lay low.
We were supposed to be.
We were gonna be in Vegas for Super Bowl, especially because I love Usher. Like, yeah, the game's going on, but my whole thing is like I want to see Usher Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what? Usher's the bomb, man.
Usher is.
is this shit.
But
Plans
this
changed.
Plans
So now-
changed, and now we're like, let's just stay home.
Order some wings.
And I thought about
Cool.
like
So it's
invite
us
other-
four without the cameras. Got it. Yeah.
home.
That's it.
Oh, by the way, their mom and dad, the best.
They are the
Keep
best.
Fucking popping.
Yeah.
They are the best. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I know they're watching.
E, what's your pick?
Z, you didn't get to your pick yet.
Yeah.
You skipped down.
I can say it.
I actually, here's the problem, like in full disclosure.
It's a fucking answer.
I have,
Chiefs or the Niners?
here's the problem. Sometimes, yeah, text me. He's like, bro, I'm watching the game with Dean and Jad on Tuesday. He's like, do I hedge? Like, what do I do? I'm like, dude, I'll give you my opinion, but I'm always wrong. Like I have insight into that I'm wrong. Okay, I like the Niners, which means you should take the Chiefs.
Yeah, so 3 bets.
Here we go.
1, the under in the first half. 2, Debo scores a touchdown. 3, Niners win the game, money line.
Oh, pretty much.
Very
That's the
detailed.
answer.
I don't think Debo's gonna score.
Okay.
Oh, I'll take. That's the one bet, like for sure.
Debo's gonna score.
No.
Okay.
I got the Chiefs though.
How do you think Usher will do?
I think he'll kill it.
Right?
Okay. So here's
He's a
the-
pro.
Let me
He's
tell
been
you-
around.
Let me tell you about the Swift effect. Right?
Okay, please do.
Okay.
Before that, do you
Go.
think they're gonna try to have Taylor Swift somehow in the halftime show?
I
No.
don't think so. I don't think
They
so.
don't have enough money to pay for that.
Yeah.
Too much
Ta-
promo behind Usher.
Yeah.
Too. Apple's like pushing Usher fully.
And they cut to her enough. She's in it without being in it.
But it's gonna be perfect that she's there because she just dropped her album. So that's
No, but I want to hear your Swiftie philosophy.
So here's the thing. First of all, I think she's absolutely sensational.
Agreed.
Everything that she's doing, this is a prime example about somebody that's a leader, just like yourselves in your industry, that what you're doing look at the story that you told, right?
Or telling.
And are telling, and you're not even close to what the finish line is at. Taylor Swift doing her thing, pop culture, etc. She is becoming a superstar. The NFL, that is exactly what, like when you say radio is not dead. Television, nobody watches television at all except if it's streamed.
yeah.
And what Taylor Swift has done in her industry with the NFL is unbelievable. She is not distracting anybody for anything. I don't know one fucking song she sings. I really don't.
That's
I don't
true.
know
I
one
don't
song
either, yeah.
that she sings. But anybody that hates on her is just a hater.
Hater, correct.
And there's so many people that will hate. I'm more of a Biggie, Tupac, Little Kim.
But it doesn't mean you're wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you do you.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Like, I've
what
never
she
listened
does
to- yeah, exactly.
is fine. So
You're right, dude,
So
yeah.
when you talk about like the halftime show, I'll tell you what. We talked about this before, and I'm gonna ask this question. Usher, awesome dancer. His song "My Way." That
Way.
song
Love it, classic.
is a when I was a young lad, this guy will throw that bomb down, and it was crazy.
Oh, dude, at the skating
You
rink or the
think-
bowling alley? Forget about it.
100%.
Game shut down.
Right.
Right.
So who's better, Usher or
See Breezy, Chris Brown
Chris Brown.
as a dancer.
As a
first dancer? When I say better, I'm gonna ask you, better dancer or better basketball player? Who's better at one of the two?
Okay, better dancer, Usher.
better basketball player, Chris Brown.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
So Usher better dancer,
I had
yeah.
a question, a betting question, and it may or may not be from your sister. They said heads or tails for the coin toss. She said heads or tails for the coin.
That's no skill.
Shit. if you take a look at the past 10
Are you
years.
being serious right now? You're gonna pretend like there's game behind that?
Yeah.
Get the fuck.
Yo, we're calling tails.
For real? You can't say it's a
Tails.
talk? Okay.
He's
This
tails.
guy.
You gotta. If you're
All right,
gonna
dude,
roll
all right.
dice, you roll dice and you get nice.
Thank God I don't gamble. Thank God I don't gamble.
It's like Lulu and Lala for halftime 2025.
Yes.
It's about that one.
By the way,
It was from Samantha Kelly.
Oh, okay, it's our cousin. Love you, Sammy.
is there? I want to thank you guys.
No, thank you. For
This was
having
awesome.
us.
This was really,
fun.
really great.
Yeah.
I think whatever you're gonna do, because you're gonna do some big stuff. One, you could count on whatever little support we could offer. Just text E, and we're game. We're down, and we'll bring a crew down to El Salvador or whatever. Straight up.
Yeah, that would be.
One, two. I actually think whatever you're doing, you may already have this in plans, maybe you don't. And yeah, you could advise or whatever. I think you should include a healthcare component, whatever you do, because your energy, your mental health, your physical health, the way you guys do it, I think it's a lot more beneficial. People are much more interested in finding out what non-healthcare professionals are doing to live a very healthy life.
Yeah, you know that you say that when I shared my experience with explanting my implants, it was hard for me at first because I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be a good look or what are people going to think. I have helped so many women.
I'm sure.
And so many women have reached out to me where I'm like, wow, if I would have stayed shut, these women would be lost or confused. And I was able to share what I went through and why I did it to begin with, and to see the amount of women reaching out to me, I'm like,
And husbands.
I'll be. It's so surprising how more men reach out to me asking for their wives or their girlfriends about, implants. Should she take them out? No, this is what's going on. And I'm like, wow. It's funny you say that because I firsthand saw that when I shared my experience.
You know why I say it? And I know Iyad agrees with this. And Muhammad, you're there. When a patient asks a question, and I'm like, oh, it's urethral pelvic obstruction, and blah, blah, and the CAT scan showed this, they're like, okay, Dr. Baker, okay. They're not listening. They care about their kid. When it comes to your kid, no, they care. And they're taking notes and whatever. But when we connect, when I'm they're like, oh, Dr. Baker, my 6-month-old won't sleep. And I'm like, dude, my kids were the same. Let me tell you what to do. And when I personalize it, because I went through it, that's when they stop being a patient and they become family.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because
100%.
I like to think we're good at what we do, but they could go to Boston or Philly and get somebody who's just as smart or smarter. But what they can't get is that personal connection. And what you have, is that personal connection. And you guys have been through a lot of healthcare stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yes, we
And
have.
there's nothing more important than your family's health.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We will take you up on that advice.
whatever.
100%.
Thank you guys. For
Are you kidding?
having us.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for
Much
making
appreciated.
it- I didn't even realize how,
What are you I think I know what you're trying to say without you even saying it.
it's like a moment type of thing. I didn't realize how, because we always spoke about, what we do. I didn't really think that we can, I don't know. There's a whole lot of things going on up in
I think
my
what she's
brain.
trying to say is speaking about everything that we've been through in our careers and actually hearing it when we speak
No, I'm
it out.
talking about the health aspect of it. I didn't think people care.
Oh, that, okay.
Even your professional journey,
Yeah.
what you might not realize, when I talk to kids, and Mo, you could step in whenever, when the moms or the dads have anxiety, they're like, Dr. Baker, I take care of, he doesn't like to hear this. I don't know, I'm not going to say that. Not that he doesn't like to hear this. I always say when you take care of someone's kids, you're immediately family because you kind of care about your health. You really care about your kids' health.
Right.
Yeah.
Sarah was in today. I don't know if you know that. She was in today with Izzy. Yeah. It's a whole different ballgame when it comes to your kids. All bets are off. And so they're whatever. And when you give them the personal experiences and so on and so forth about themselves, there's a connection there, right? And you guys have been through so much, but I think what you don't realize is you've had professional decisions to make. You've pivoted 30 times professionally. You've exercised really well, and then you screwed up and didn't exercise. Every single person listening and watching has had that problem, and they want to learn about that, right?
Yeah.
And mental health, like, oh, there's people telling you not to do something or to do something, and you guys couldn't be, more balanced physically, emotionally, mentally. And I think you're like a shining example for people, and you should share that experience.
Thank you so much. I feel worried about myself right now. I'm kidding. But thank you. And I think that you guys are not good. I think you guys are great and you're amazing. And the fact that you connect with all of your patients is...
You don't see that often.
You don't.
Like I was telling him the other day, like you make an appointment now for something and it's like, oh, in 3 months. Well, in 3 months, how is that going to help me now?
Yeah,
You guys are so great at that.
Yeah. The motto, Mo knows, the motto is figure it out.
Figure it out.
The motto seems figure. If it was your mom, what would you do?
Exactly.
Right?
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
for being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.